I opened the closet, rummaging around for a while before I finally found two large bags. Pulling them out onto the floor of my room, I then began to empty my drawers and cabinets so that I could bring all my things with me. Which means I'm gonna have to leave school? How about Suzu and Naomi? I didn't have much to bring, other than just clothes and some toiletries. It was kind of bizarre that I didn't have many personal belongings. It wasn't like my luggage was completely devoid of them, but I certainly didn't have many things in my room that I would miss if I just suddenly left the house. I shook my head to rid myself of those thoughts. If it were going to be my new home, it would have to feel like it. One way or another, I was going to make it a home. What? Just as I was packing my things, my cell phone began ringing and vibrating in my pocket. that was unexpected. I slid my phone out of my pocket and answered it while slowly easing myself onto my bed. Who could possibly be calling?
Hey, Anderson, you there?
Suzu. Hey, girl.
Is everything alright? We were worried about you, so we decided to call. Hello?
I'm really glad you guys called. My voice managed to come out, though it was only a whisper.
What happened? Are you okay?
Well, I slowly began to tell them about the funeral that afternoon. A small silence followed when I was done recounting what happened, and to my relief, Naomi finally spoke up.
I can't begin to imagine how you must be feeling right now. I'm so sorry. Do you want us to come over right now?
Yes. No. Right, fine, no. No, it's okay. My dad isn't in a good mood, so can we just keep talking on the phone like this?
Of course! We'd stay on the phone until the crack of dawn. Right, Suzu?
You guys are wonderful.
Yeah. We're always here if you need us. After all, we wouldn't be the awesome triple threat trio without you, right?
No, we wouldn't. Thank you, girls. Yeah.
Triple threat trio? That sounds like the name of a gang.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, we're all taking on the world together. We've got to sound somewhat scary, or else no one's going to take us seriously.
Exactly, like Team Dragon.
What's with you and naming things? You've got to step up your game, Naomi. Following behind the cool kids like Anderson and me. Tisk tisk. Hey! I'm a cool kid! If anything, I'd say you'd have to step up your game.
Oops. We chatted cheerfully about all sorts of things. Very soon I had forgotten about the events that day and was engaged in a conversation about Naomi's favorite TV show, some program called Herlock. We all agreed that the actor playing the titular character certainly had a very distinctive look about him, with that long overcoat and scarf wrapped around his neck. We had many disagreements about who we thought was the coolest character. Yeah, he has really high cheekbones, and his eyes are pretty. Though I do have to say I prefer Jatson, and as a bonus, his actor is just so sassy. I looked at the clock hanging on the wall and realized how late it was. Whoa, it's already 1 a.m.? Sorry for keeping you guys up so late. I think I'm gonna hit the hay for tonight. See you guys at school tomorrow. I should probably shower and get to bed. I can't believe I stayed up this late just to talk to my friends. But it was really nice. Well, to the bathroom I go. I took a relaxing shower. Nothing beat hot water and the feeling of being clean. After drying myself, I promptly dressed in my pajamas and crawled into bed. Ah, a nice hot shower after a long day. I'm so glad to finally be in bed. It had been a really long day. I knew that I was wishing for something to change back in class, but I certainly wasn't expecting any of the things that happened today. And I have to go back to school tomorrow. Ugh. I curled up on my side and tightly wrapped the blankets around me. I really wasn't in the mood to be returning to school, but my dad probably would make me go just for the sake of it. It's time to go to sleep. I reached out to the lamp on my nightstand to turn off the lights. However, my mind was so lost in the passing of my grandfather and the thoughts of inheriting something so big that it haunted my mind the entire night until the next morning. Oh, that's such an annoying sound. Ugh. I shook my head to try to clear the sleepiness out of me to no avail. I really didn't get any sleep last night. It's already time to wake up? Wait, school! As soon as I realized I had to go to school, I slid out of bed and looked at the vanity mirror. That's a relief. Luckily, there was barely a bruise on my cheek. I'd hate to have to explain that. You had to squint to actually see it. I doubted anyone would actually notice it unless they leaned in really close. Breathing out a sigh, I got dressed, took my backpack, and caught the bus to go to school. Oh, we never ate our lasagna. No, our poor lasagna. It's just like our grilled cheese sandwich over with the Borderlands playthrough. It wasn't even hours before everyone heard of the news. I was approached in school and given condolences for my loss. However, that wasn't what shocked my friends.
Wait, so you have the whole Anderson house to yourself? Lucky as hell, man!
Okay, so the Anderson house isn't that far away, apparently. Which makes sense because we were able to bury our grandfather the same day. That makes sense.
Quit being so sensitive, Naomi.
I like sensitivity, Suzu.
Quit being so vulgar, Suzu.
Actually, Suzu's right, Naomi. Could you be a little bit more supportive here right now? No, Naomi's right, Suzu.
Oh, man, come on! See? She knows about proper public taste. I know how to be a lady. Sheesh.
Guys, I'm going there after school today because my parents want me to get used to living there.
Seriously? It hasn't even been a day since you came back to school.
I know, right? I know, but my parents want me to try living there as soon as possible. And by parents, I mean my dad.
Still, that's really fast. Are you going to be okay?
Of course. But even in the comfort of my best friends, life seemed to keep testing me. Oof!
Hey! Don't go around shoving people like that.
Who did that?
Whoops. Did I strike a nerve, Capini?
Oh, wow, look at Lisette. Oh, okay, hi. She let out a small laugh as she twirled her hair on her finger. Lisette, one of the last people I wanted to see today. Okay, so Lisette is actually pretty darn snarky. Alright, so that's not cool. She kind of looks like a older, more meaner Paula from Earthbound.
It's not me you should be apologizing to.
Oh, Anderson. Hey, how's it going?
Mm-hmm. I'm alright.
Haven't you already heard, Lizette?
Of what?
Her grandfather's passing.
Ah, well, I'm sorry about that.
Thanks.
I don't really watch a lot of news.
Thanks.
It doesn't really sound like you mean it.
Exactly.
I do mean it. Earnestly. Why wouldn't I?
Because you don't care?
Typical Capini. Isn't her family involved with the mafia or something? I wouldn't be surprised if she brought out a bat from behind her back right this moment.
I love how it says rude,
Typical
rude
Capini.
girl. Rude
Isn't
girl.
her family involved with the mafia or something? I wouldn't be surprised if she brought out a bat from behind her back
It says
right
rude,
this moment.
rude girl instead of Suzu. I'd nearly forgotten the crowd that followed Lisette. Oh, the rude girl behind her. Never mind. Which was mostly comprised of people that no one wanted to see on a typical day. I was confused because Suzu's mouth was open during that dialogue. No one had the slightest idea why exactly they followed Lisette around persistently, but they labeled themselves as social equals with her.
That is out of line. Suzu comes from an honest family.
Says the one whose family profits from political scandals.
Snobby girl, but not Suzu. You should not be talking while the other girls behind Lisette are talking. You're confusing me.
Yeah, your dad doesn't make anything unless he's in the court with dirty politicians.
Hey, let's all calm down for a second, alright? I'm sure Anderson needs some time to recuperate. I mean, what just happened? We need to give her some respect.
And some space away from my bubble. My bubble is set. Just stop. Stop acting like that already. Like you feel sorry for me.
What are you talking about?
I'm sure you're happy seeing me like this. You already have everything you wanted, and now seeing me like this, life couldn't get any better. Bitterness seeped into me, and words started flying out of my mouth without filter. But honestly, I didn't care. I was so consumed by anger that I only saw Lisette in front of me. What exactly am I to you? Just another part of your obstacle course? Is that what I am? I'm sick of it, Lisette. I'm sick of all these charades, and I'm sick of you. Gasps rose from the crowds around her, and I was brought back to the school hallway. Even my friends beside me looked at me in surprise. One girl looked like she was going to speak up, but Lisette held her hand up to stop her. There was an emotion in her face that I couldn't quite make out, but I couldn't see a form of pity in her eyes. But I could see a form of pity in her eyes. No, don't you dare pity me. I looked away from her. I didn't want to see that emotion in her eyes when she was talking to me. She didn't have the right to look at me that way.
I'm sorry. I know your grandfather passing away must have really taken a toll on your emotions.
She stepped towards me and put her hand on my shoulder, giving me a tiny smile as if for old time's sake. But for some reason, I didn't feel comfort at all. Not that I was just angry at her, but the expression on her face when she leaned in close to me contorted to us into something complex. Something was different about her. I couldn't quite place my finger on it, but something about her had definitely changed.
Well, I'll be going for now. Track meet responsibilities and all of that stuff. See you later.
Something about the set made me feel uncomfortable. I wasn't just angry about I wasn't just angry, but also uneasy. What was it? I'd never seen her like that before. But I decided to pay no further attention to it. She continued running down the hallway with her gaggle of friends behind her. I refocused my attention to Mrs. Phillips, who was walking down the hall towards me.
Is everything all right, girls?
Nothing we couldn't handle, Mrs. P. Just a bunch of snobs.
Suzu, hush! It was nothing, Mrs. Phillips.
I see. Well, Miss Anderson, please accept my condolences for your loss.
Thank you, Miss Phillips. Thank you, Mrs. Phillips.
Your grandfather was a good man. He really upheld the philanthropy of his company's policies, and the money that went towards charity, too.
I know. He was amazing. I really looked up to him, and I want to be as good as he was.
Well, I know that you'll be as great as your grandfather.
Hell yeah, she will. She'll be 10 times better than her grandfather.
Would I? Would I really be better than my grandfather? Everyone seemed to have high expectations for me. I wanted to do my best and make my family proud, but to be better than my grandfather? I wasn't sure about that. From outside the school window, I saw a familiar blue car pull up the curb. Undoubtedly, it was my father in the driver's seat. Oh, my ride's here. Well, I guess I'll see you both tomorrow.
Want us to come with you?
Oh, no. It's okay. I'll be fine. See ya. Hey, Dad.
Hey, honey.
As I got into the car, I noticed my father looked troubled, clutching at his steering wheel and staring straight ahead as if something was really bothering him.
About what happened yesterday. I'm sorry for yelling at you. Does your cheek still hurt?
No, it's nothing to worry about.
I mean it. I shouldn't have laid a finger on you. You know that you're my most precious daughter. You're all that I have.
I'm your only daughter. Yet he couldn't bring himself to say what he could never say to me for such a long time. I always wanted to hear those words to affirm how he really felt, but I guess even now, he couldn't say it to me. That's really sad. I turned my head away to look out the window. There was no point in waiting for something that was never going to come. Oh, this is so depressing. And like that, he started to drive, and the conversation between us ended. This is why he estranged himself. This is why he's so estranged from his grandpa, is that he can't say things. He can't say things like that. The really important things to resolve these issues with people that cause these rifts. He can't say it. And now it's happening to his own daughter too. That's really sad. Really sad. It looks like he's trying though. He's just not. He just needs to try even harder. I decided to focus my attention on the passing scenery. We were taking the usual route to grandfather's house. It was located within the vicinity of the school district, but it was still pretty far from the school and from where our house was. He had always lived alone. He insisted on doing things by himself, even at his age, living in such a large house. I wondered, did he pass away with no one at his side as well? It sounded so lonely and sad. It was strange that he decided on living all alone in his large estate. If anything, he could have lived with us. Though he and my father probably would have given each other the silent treatment the entire time, maybe living alone was preferable to that. I actually hadn't visited him for quite a while. Visits to his house were most frequent when I was a child, and I had grown up long since then. The last time I visited, though, I thought he looked just as he usually was, happy and healthy. But things change. In the back of my mind, I knew that he would have to leave one day. It wasn't like humans could live forever. So why did my heart still feel so heavy? The car ride was mostly spent in silence, until he spoke up again.
How was school? Maintaining your grades, I hope.
Yeah. I've been trying my best as of so far.
Trying? That's not really doing the best you can, is it?
What do you want from me, Dad? With my father, only some words I said were filtered through his ears. It was difficult to keep up a conversation without eventually talking about academics or my future, even if it was something loosely based on it. He always found a way to integrate it whenever we talked.
Anyway, your belongings are in the trunk. There isn't a lot, so I'm sure you can manage bringing them inside the house. After all, you are on the road to being independent.
You're not even going to help your own daughter carry her stuff into the house? Sheesh. Yes, I can manage on my own. The usual silence resumed between us. I really wasn't sure what to say around him, especially when most of the time we didn't share the same opinions. One question did linger in my mind, though. If he was going to justify acting so nonchalant at grandfather's funeral, I had the right to at least know why. He seems like my dad's kind of vulnerable right now. Like, he feels really bad about what happened yesterday. So if I'm going to get anything from him, I might as well try now. Say, Dad, about you and Grandpa.
We are not talking about this.
I feel like we should be, because Grandpa did leave us yesterday, so...
I wouldn't care if he had left even long before that. I do not want to hear it, and that is the end of this conversation.
Fine, then we're going to continue staying in this car in silence like you've been, and you'll be uncomfortable like the whole time again. As always, he managed to shut down any other form of conversation related to him. It was just like what happened last night. I opened my mouth slightly, but I closed it again. It was like talking to a brick wall. It wasn't like I could find out anything by somehow arguing my way through it. Yeah, it's not worth it. All right, then. I leaned against the car door and stared out the window. I really couldn't think. What would this place be like? I had been to my grandfather's house before, but it was one thing visiting, and it was another thing actually living there. How would I manage living on my own without any training to really care for a house? I knew that naturally the bills would be paid by my parents, who inherited grandfather's stocks with the corporation, but I had never lived independently before. Thinking about it made me feel like some kind of bird being pushed out of the nest. Though I was technically an adult, I felt unprepared and a bit daunted at the prospect of actually moving into a new place. Most people my age would be ecstatic moving out. After all, it would symbolize some kind of change in their lives, like being on the road to independence. But I felt like it was nothing of the sort. I really hoped I wouldn't let my parents down. I wouldn't want to let grandfather down. What would he be saying right now? I gazed up at the passing clouds in the sky. If you're out there, grandfather, how would you be doing? Would there be anything you'd want to tell me at this moment? And of course, no answer. What was I doing? Searching for an answer in a heaven that would or would not exist? I ducked my head to stare at the blur of trees and cars from the car window. My head was definitely going into the clouds there at that moment. Either way, I found myself being driven off to my new home. The car rolled to a stop and I drifted out of my thoughts.
Here we are. Go on in.
All right. Tell Mom I love her.
All right.
All right, that's it. I love you, Dad. No, make sure to come by and visit us often. No, I'm gonna miss you lots. Nothing other than a blank stare. Come on, Dad. I paused a bit before reaching for the car door handle, waiting for any form of a goodbye, but he didn't speak again. You're terrible at this. Jeez. I sighed and exited the car, hearing my dad pop open the trunk. I saw the 2 large bags I packed last night that were large enough to carry only the things I needed. I took them out, placed one bag on each shoulder, and closed the trunk. He then drove off, leaving me alone in front of the mansion. I watched the blue car fade into the distance of the road before turning to see my new home. There it is. It's huge. My grandfather gave me this? It's hard to believe. The house was framed by a set of tall gates, and I hesitantly pushed them aside to take in the entire estate. The house still looked like it was when I last visited him. At a glance, it seemed kind of intimidating with its size, though if I came closer, it was clear that there was more to it than that. The brick walls were framed by shrubbery and lovely flowers, giving it a homey and welcoming look, but in contrast, the tall doors of the house gave me a feeling of grandeur. Who knew what was waiting for me? But I wouldn't back down at this moment. I took out the key of the front doors and unlocked them. Well, might as well make myself at home. I'll be staying here for quite a while anyways. That's when I saw them. Lying on the floor was a group of men. What? They were all unconscious, but there was no explanation as to why they were there in the first place. I dropped my bag as I let the door close on its own behind me. What? Huh? Who the heck are these guys? Why are they here? What's going on? Some of them had open wounds. The blood was staining the floor and the scent was intermingling with the air. I couldn't help but feel bad for them instinctively, but nevertheless I was shocked and a bit angry at the sudden intrusion. My mind suddenly went from caring and concerned to confused, demanding answers. What's this? A whole bunch of unconscious guys with bleeding? What? Who are you guys? No response. I'll call the police. Still nothing. None of them seemed to be awake to answer or respond to me. It seemed surreal to have random strangers in the house I just moved into, but I wanted answers quickly. That was until... Eep! Get away from me!
Woman, you're going to let me kiss you.
What? Say what? I mean, you have awesome hair, and I like your eyes are green. I'm a big sucker for green eyes, but what? I couldn't believe it myself, but within a mere blink of an eye, one of the men went from lying on the floor to being right in front of my face. What was even more odd was the fact that I felt serene and calm about it. Whoa. He looks good, though. He's just a little forward. Just a little forward. Slowly, a desire burned from my chest, telling me to accept his kiss even when my mind vehemently refused. Go ahead. Oh, we can't even choose? We can't even decide whether to do it or not?
Good.
Whoa. Okay. As he kissed me, I could feel my body go weak. Is this what is our grandpa up to? What the heck is he doing? As he kissed me, I could feel my body go weak. I didn't know why, but that kiss was draining me of my energy, and yet it was so good and made my heart sing. Is this a vampire? What's going on? It was strange, and a tingling feeling that danced over every nerve on my body. I could feel streams of intangible energy run up my body into my lips. It felt odd, but at the same time, it felt amazing.
Sam, stop it.
Are these vampires? What's going on? Is that why they're bleeding? The person kissing me, Sam was his name, glanced behind him.
I said stop. Now.
Fine.
Finally, he pulled back, and I was left standing there in a daze. Well, huh? I couldn't tell what was going on. My mind was completely enwrapped by the kiss and my thoughts that melted into the depths of my forgotten memories.
Please forgive my brother. He's a bit reckless.
Your brother?
At least I feel a hell of a lot better than you right now.
Wow, it actually looks like he has fangs. Maybe this is... Whoa, maybe these are vampires.
Because you used your abilities on her.
Is this what my dad has not wanted to say? That our grandpa is also a vampire? This story took a turn for the weird really fast. Whoa!
Sam, you're such a reckless brute. Taking advantage of a beautiful young woman like her.
I am liking this guy's style. He's a ginger, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't know. Based on the way he's carrying himself right now, I'm not sure I like the attitude. But he's a ginger. I'm not a big fan of his hair, though. I kind of like Sam's hair a lot more. This is more my type of hair. This is a little too floppy for my opinion, but man, his outfit, though, his style gets buco points from me. So look at me rating the guys already.
Shut that pretty boy mouth of yours before I rip it off your pretty boy face.
Sheesh, you guys. Can we not fight right now? Not all of us are in the best state.
I guess you are right, Matthew.
Sam, Matthew.
I agree.
Oh, there's another redhead here. However, as the men got up and started to chat freely, my thoughts began to reassemble, and I remembered my confusion and anger once again, only now multiplied tenfold. What?
Huh? Did you say something beautiful?
And I exploded. What is going on? Why are you all here in my house? Why are you all wounded? Why did you kiss me? Who are you guys? That's what I'd like to know. I couldn't help exploding, but after being taken advantage of and being left in a mush state, my words escaped without filter. I definitely scared the men around me, even the man who kissed me. Wait a second. The guy who kissed me.
Ouch! What's your problem?
Nice. What's your problem? You can't just go around forcing people to kiss you like that. Are you some kind of a pervert?
Pervert? It was only a kiss!
It was only a kiss. It was only a kiss. Oh gosh. Don't make me break out into song. Why did it end up like this? It meant I might mean nothing. It might mean nothing to you, but it means a lot to me.
What? Was it your first kiss? Ow! Hey, what was that for?
You deserved it, Sam. You deserved it. You're such a jerk face, but you're sickeningly cute, though. I think out of all the guys, this is sad. Out of all the guys, Sam is probably the one that I find the most physically attractive, but his attitude, man. That attitude. I know first kisses weren't exactly amazing and full of sparkles and something out of a fairy tale, but I had at least expected it to be more than just something forced.
So it was your first kiss. Stop making such a big deal out of it.
Stop being such a jerk about it. Are you asking to get punched again?
Well, what do you want me to do? It's not like I can somehow take it back.
Well, maybe you should think about that next time. Hit him again. He deserves it.
Ow! You're just being violent
I
now!
love this. Thank you for giving us that option. You deserve... Yeah, see? Hardcore and I, once again, we're on the same wavelength. Wavelength, girl. You deserved it. Anyway, if you try to pull any funny business in the future, just a fair warning, I know Taekwondo. I think I've bickered enough. Time to get back to the main issue. You haven't even answered my question yet. So, what exactly are all of you doing in my house?
Miss, please forgive us in our intrusion. We didn't know this abode belonged to anyone, nor did we have the time to take that into consideration.
You just broke into someone's house just like that. What do you mean? You just don't barge into people's homes.
We wouldn't have had to if we weren't as wounded as we are currently. We just escaped from a deadly fight that could have ended our lives.
A likely story.
Luckily for us, your home was near and the windows were unlocked, so we quickly came inside.
And then you start kissing the very first person that enters into the house? The last time I remember, there were laws preventing strangers from stepping on private property, although considering the severity of their wounds, it had to be serious. I guess that explains the wounds, but why he kissed me? He had absolutely no right to do that.
Well, lovely flustered lady, it's hard to explain, truly. We're not exactly normal.
You can say that again, brother. Not normal. What are you guys, demons or something?